elation of victory and the end of war had peaked and was beginning to subside in 1946. It was now time for President Truman to make some bold decisions. Decisions that would please many Americans while also creating some powerful enemies. Truman's decision to use the atomic bomb was now being questioned. He also faced discord over raising taxes to pay for expensive post-war programs. But he brought the most controversy on himself when he began working to increase the rights of minorities. When the Committee on Civil Rights, which was established by Truman, recommended the end of Jim Crow segregation laws and the elimination of discrimination, a firestorm flared up in Congress and throughout the Democratic Party. This controversial pursuit of minority rights made Truman a marked man.
I believe in brotherhood of all men before the law. If any one class or race can be permanently set apart from or pushed down below the rest in politics and civil rights, so may any other class or race. And we say farewell to the principles on which we count our safety. The majority of our Negro people find but cold comfort in our shanties and tenements. Surely as free men they are entitled to something better than this. Harry S. Truman, 1940.
As 1948 rolled around, very few people believed Truman would ever be re-elected. His approval rating had dropped to 36%, and the Democratic Party began to splinter. Reminiscent of pre-Civil War days, Democrats from 13 southern states held their own convention and nominated the governor of South Carolina, Strom Thurmond, as their presidential candidate. These Dixiecrats opposed civil rights legislation and supported increased rights for southern states. In addition, one of FDR's former vice presidents, Henry Wallace, announced he was also running as the candidate of the newly founded Progressive Party. Wallace opposed Truman's Cold War policies toward the Soviet Union. The Republican Party, which already controlled the Congress, nominated New York Governor Thomas Dewey. With the splintering of the Democrats, they were confident of winning and essentially ran on an anti-Truman, anti-FDR platform, aiming to lower taxes, battle big labor, and reduce Roosevelt's New Deal policies. But Truman would not go down without a fight. He toured the nation in what became known as the Whistle Stop Campaign and became a favorite of the working class for his direct manner of speaking and his man-of-the-people attitude.
Mr. Truman's insistence that he be nominated, though he has been repudiated by the active elements of his party, is remarkable as showing how the pomp and power of the presidency can turn humility into stubborn pride. Walter Lippmann, 1948.
Still, most of the nation believed Dewey would win in a landslide. The Chicago Tribune newspaper was so confident of a Dewey victory, it went ahead and printed an early edition of the paper with the page-one headline, "Dewey defeats Truman." But Truman had won over the hearts of black Americans and farmers. They turned out in large numbers to vote Truman easily back into the Oval Office. His victory was shocking and is still considered the greatest upset in the history of American presidential elections. With the additional victory of Democrats regaining control of the Congress, Truman now set out to expand FDR's New Deal programs into what he called the Fair Deal, and Americans would find out the fiery president that had been appointed upon FDR's death lost no intensity in his own 4-year term.